Good evening, everyone. I'm Neha Yadav and welcome you all to the fifth episode of Talk Without Constraints, a series wherein the guest speaker will be sharing their first period experience and will further engage in a conversation around menstruation. So let's begin by outlining our organization. Sarkari School is an initiative by We Citizen Foundation that promotes high standard of education for government school students. We, as a group, strive to raise awareness and to promote positive narrative about them. Many of our significant projects support students from underprivileged. One of our projects is Project Vedana, which aims towards creating awareness campaigns to reduce school absenteeism during their menstrual cycle, especially in rural areas. Through their active involvement of youth and creating conversation around normalizing the taboos and stereotypes around periods. So far, Project Vedna has led a large scale initiative on reducing the absenteeism of girl children due to menstruation by conducting workshops in government school and engaging with young and driven people across different states. So, like, we are waiting for our guest to join. Will be begin soon.
Hi Neha. As we know, our project is working a lot towards menstruation, creating awareness among people. So, do you think uh, there will be some change? Do you think there's some change regarding menstruation in rural areas, like comparing to 90s and now?
Yeah, we have seen so much awareness among people, especially girls. Even boys are also aware about the this thing periods. So I think there is we have seen lot of changes among the behavior of people. Like there are so many taboos and stereotypes, especially in rural areas. But I think um, education, providing them education and making them aware is a only only thing that we can change this behavior among them.
True.
And like our project Vedna is doing this work, so I think we'll be able to change, bring some changes.
Due to network issue, our guest speaker is not able to join, but now she's finally here.
So let's begin.
Yeah.
um Now I'll be hosting our special guest, Miss Ananya Dutta, and I have a great pleasure to invite her on this platform via Talk Without Constraint. She is a student of Bharati College and she aspires to seek ground on Televic of creative competition. Out of her league of prowess, she seems to strive in the demands of poetry as well. Now, over to you, Divya.
Thank you, Neha. So, beginning with our session of Talk Without Constraint, my first question for Ananya is: were you aware about periods before you had them the first time? If yes, then who taught you about it?
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
May I ask you to kindly repeat the question owing to the network issues? I couldn't hear the question very well.
Yeah, yeah, I'll repeat. So, were you aware about periods before you had them for the first time? If yes, then who taught you about it?
Okay, thank you so much for your question. And I have been, I've never really sought this opportunity of speaking on a topic like this. But I'm really happy that I finally been offered a platform to do so. So answering your question, years old, that was when I had my menarche. Indeed, my mother was the first person who had told me about this natural occurrence of the bodily functions which happen time to time. But I was obviously, despite all the information, was always unaware because you know it only when you get to live through it. So I didn't really have a very clear picture of what it would be like to have periods every month, and to simply also go through the monthly issues which come with the very entire notion of periods. So it was my mother who had told me better, and that is all.
Okay, so this is a very nice answer as every first step starts from home only. So, moving towards my second question, how was your first experience? Could you please share your experience with us?
Uh, yes, indeed. The That experience was actually quite chaotic, if I have to tell you the truth, because it happened somewhere in the early noon, very close to the noon, I think. And then fortunately, I was at home, but it was out of some kind of. It was actually not really in the plan for me to stay at home that day. I did have school, but um, uh, some kind of vicissitudes did work for me, and by God's blessings, I was actually I was actually compelled to stay back because of some kind of a political issue which was going on in the town, and the schools were rumored to be closed that day. And then followed the rest of the day, and my mom, she had been out to join. She was actually coming back after having attended her preferment in the office of LICI. She was moving back to Sibsagar, my hometown, after having completed her tenure of the present month. So when she's coming back, she had always prayed to God, asking for her return home. It was still chaotic because I was not aware. I didn't know how I would feel and what would follow. So my mom actually came back in a great hurry, and then I was aided, but uh, then a Malay followed. That is all.
Okay, glad to hear that. So, the third question is, are there any myths or stereotypes associated with periods followed at your own home?
the deal in a state of good predicament because it will be about my own home. But I cannot deny telling you the truth about it at my even at the place I home. The one of the myths basically is that it appertains to the touch over many items of even ordinary use, items which actually uh, indeed items appertaining especially to holy shrines and the sacred places. So it happens like that. So this is one of the myths which is followed, and the other one is indeed that this is one of the biggest myths which I've grown up with. So I like to think about it more and see if but if it I don't mean any blasphemy by asking any girl to not follow this, but indeed one has to go through all of the customs, the mores that a family follows. We grew up in a myth. I will indeed like to point out.
Okay, so moving towards the fourth question. What was your school or college infrastructure menstrual friendly? What was your school or college infrastructure menstrual friendly?
I thank you for your question. Again, you've picked up a very important area which needs to be looked at. The very first, the question related to um, the school, the infrastructure at school. It's really we that time of the month around which we receive a people. The school that I come from, the washrooms have to be taken care of. I can only anticipate that they are doing much better now, but back then the washrooms needed to be taken good care of, and the girls would find it really daunting in light of the image of the washrooms in their minds, have water, if they would have even availability of sanitary napkins. So I believe that that was not
There is some network glitch.
Let's wait for her to join again.